So I'm gonna try to do a video today as kind of a follow-up to my last video. Um, she is feeling her piss and vinegar today. So I thought that'd be a good thing to show, kind of a hot horse that's having a hard time focusing. I didn't do this to her. She ran herself around the arena like a lunatic. I haven't done anything with her today besides letting her just run around. So Katia sent me a video of her lunging. It looked great. There's a few things I wanted to point out to her, and a few exercises I wanted to show her. So yeah, I guess we'll get started. So I'm going to start super basic with her since she is a little bit hot today, and just show kind of what I do with a horse that's in this mindset to try to start getting them thinking right. When she's doing that kind of stuff, I don't really care. As long as she stays like out of my space and in that jump region behind me where I put her, I don't really care what she does, as long as she's not hurting me or anyone else. Obviously, if she's getting really crazy back there, I might start moving her feet around. But I'm pretty much just going to blow her off and ignore her, and she's going to realize it's better just to stand still and things will be fine. All right, so to start, I always start with my stick and just making sure she knows that we're on good terms. I'm not going to hurt her. So we, just do a little bit of this. And I apologize, she is a muddy, hairy mess, but she's being so hot today. I just wanted to get her right to work, get her mind right. We also had the farrier up today and realized that's not happening quite so easily as we thought. So we might do a little lesson on that later today as well. So obviously she's not scared. And that's all we're checking. Make sure she's not scared of me or the whip. We want her to respect the whip and respect me, but we don't want her to be scared. So then I will come in here. This is something we've done in the past, is take my stick, or you can take your hand, put it right here in the crest of her neck, and just apply a little bit of pressure. I just want her to step away like that. So first we want to make sure they're calm and quiet, and then we want to start putting that pressure on them. Good. And this is some of that stuff that I showed you in that very first video I did, working with some of the pressure gains. You notice she gets pretty worked up once I start applying the pressure. She starts wanting to do too much. So with this, I'm going to do a lot of quiet. I ask a little bit, and then I just ask for quiet. It's my opinion that the folks I got her from probably didn't do much with her, and the stuff they did do with her was a little bit, I wanted the answer yesterday kind of work. You see that a lot with Clint Anderson type training methods. I get why they do it in a manner, but also some horses just can't handle it. It makes them really nervous. I get there to the point, once they're ready for it, I start asking, like I want you to move your feet yesterday kind of thing. But when they're first starting out, I want it quiet. I want quiet and I want safe. Not everybody wants a reining horse. Some people just want a quiet, safe horse that they can trust around their kids. So anyways, so I put out these cones. They're just visual aids. This is for you, Katia. I figured I'd show you the next step. Once I can get her going in a good circle both directions, I'll start what I call drifting, and that's where I'm just kind of pushing her away from me and like going around a cone. And you don't have to have a cone. You can just, do it in a field or whatever. The cones just help so you can see where you're going. But I'll try to push her around the cone, and sometimes I'll get change directions around the cone. So you'll see that today, and I'll do my best to explain what I'm doing. First, I wanted to address the things in the video that I mentioned to you. So what I'm using here is like, I don't know, 12 feet maybe. It's not very long. It's not even a lunge line. It's just a lead rope. it's long enough for me to stay out of danger range if she was to kick out or anything like that. So what I'm doing here again is she's getting antsy, so I'm gonna put her where I want her and just tell her, nope, that's you need to just chill. And I'm trying to be kind of dismissive about it. She just needs to learn that she needs to settle. Anyway, so this is probably half the length of your lunge line. So if you want to cut yours, don't physically cut it, but just work with the half of it for now. It's easier to work with the horse and get in if you need to, and to really give them the direction. You guys looked great, but I think that'll help a little bit because there was a few times where she looked like maybe she was a little bit confused on what you were asking her. And then the other thing is we talked about the whip. It's up to you. Everyone has different cues. I know some people that do height, like the ground is low, up a little bit is walk, trot, and then canter. I don't personally do it that way. I used to. I just do ground is keep moving, and then if I need you to go, I'm gonna tell you to go. So anyways, I'll just do some basic round circles and you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to start with drive our center out. We have been working on this. You notice my lunge whip is behind me? It's completely out of the picture right now. And then I use my hand. I don't care about the cone, that's her deal. She needs to figure out where her body is. I use my hand to side off. Like I said, she's a little hot today. And I don't use the whip a lot. If I do use the whip, I usually start with my body, and I walk into her body. Then I pick it up, and obviously she's really easy with that. And that kind of crabby behavior where she's throwing her head, just being kind of a turkey, honestly, I ignore it. I suppose it might be different if it was like really aggressive behavior or something. But she's just full of energy today, and she's still learning, and she's young. She's had a rough couple weeks since I've gotten her, but I just ignore it. If she's just gonna realize that it doesn't mean anything, and she's still got to do her job, and she'll stop. If it was really bad and she was just totally being like dangerous, I would go into switching directions or do something else with her and really get her moving back and forth. Every time you get a horse to stop and switch, they have to stop and think for a second. And anytime you get a horse to stop and think and use his brain, it's a good thing. So you'll see like a really hot horse. A lot of times I will just do this. And I'll sit here and I'll switch directions. And I'm being quiet. I'm not being, aggressive or anything. And it's good. It's teaching her. It's teaching her to yield. It's teaching her to think. And every time she stops and turns her body like that, she has to think. Her brain turns on for a second. And that's what we want. Especially when she's in this mindset. Because when she's in this mindset she's in right now, she's not thinking. She's just being a nut. There. So we want her to start anticipating. This is one of those times where it's good for her to anticipate. If it kind of stops and goes, wait, you want me to stop? I'm like, yeah, that's great. We'll address going forward again in a second. But when you've got one that's hot and just wants to go, if she's asking to stop and like just take a breath, to me that's great. It's a good thing. Good girl. Now, if she was a super lazy one, that'd be a whole other story. But see, she's licking and chewing. She's obviously a little calmer now. She's kind of like, okay, we're not getting hurt. We're not doing anything crazy. So you can tell how I'm not working at a length with her, and she's still able to walk, trot, and canter. If you have a horse that doesn't have a lot of physical, I don't want to say abilities, physical I don't know, they can't elope in a small, tight little circle, or they're heavier, or they're lazy, or they're just uncoordinated. You can still get around that, and I'll show you how. Well, for one, I typically wouldn't ask them to canter much on a short line. It would be more like lope off, get them to lope maybe 2 strides, and then let them break back down. And all we're trying to achieve is we're really trying to achieve that cue of, like for me, I long kiss. I go, and that means lope, and it means lope right now. And the reason I do that is so when I get on her back and I long kiss, she lopes right off. It means canter. It means canter right now. And so that's like really the only reason I do it on the ground. And then obviously, once she gets to the point where she knows all those cues, you can go to a longer line and really work on like letting her lope for some laps. And she is super athletic, so it's not a problem. She can lope in a tiny little circle. It's ridiculous. But I'll also show you what I'm talking about. Come on. And Katia, you also mentioned in your video, well, maybe it was prior to your video, that you never hit your horse. I'm absolutely 100% for that. However, I want you to know there is a difference between hitting your horse and hitting the space where your horse should not be. And what I mean by that is, like, it's hard to get her to do it because she's so flighty. But for example, if I go send and she says, no, I'm good. And I said send and she says, no, I'm good. And I go send and she goes, no, I'm good. There's nothing wrong with hitting the space she shouldn't be. You're not hitting it hard. You're not being aggressive. You're just hitting where she shouldn't be. And she'll move, and you might make contact, and there's nothing wrong with that. The important thing is that when that's done, you come in here and you say, see, we're fine. I didn't hit you. We weren't being mean. This still is just a tool. But there are some horses, it doesn't seem like your Mary's one of them, that you do sometimes have to. You have to bring it to that level or else you're just going to get blown off. Some horses just don't respect your space. If you look at horses in the field, they hurt each other a lot worse than you and I ever could. I'm not sitting here advocating to hit your horse, so I want to make that very clear. But, there is nothing wrong with hitting the spot your horse should not be, as long as you go about it properly. You are hot. You're sweating. So what I'll do, what I'm talking about with the loping off, is I'll go and then just let her break back down or do whatever. All I'm looking for is that lope off and a couple strides. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of walking into her shoulder, and that's to get her to pick up that left front leg and really lope off. So I'll try again here. Good. You're fine. You're fine. And another thing I guess I should try and address as well is, so I noticed in your video, you were going easy, easy, easy. She's like, what the heck does that mean? So I try to keep myself quiet and just, good. I would rather that she stopped and I had to resend her. Good. And what I'm doing is I'm literally melting. I'm just, good. And then if she stops and looks at me and goes, stop, I say, no, keep walking. And I just go, good. Good. And that way that's the same way you would do it in the saddle. You're riding her, you would just melt. And she's going to feel that physical just relaxation. And then it'll carry over the saddle. Easy. Good.
Do you like my outrageously painted cones?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I hope that's okay. I borrowed
No,
that.
that's fine. I was just like, I totally forgot I even put them in here, but they were orange, and Brittany was like, we should spray paint them, and I just got carried away.
No, they look awesome. I
The
love
green one is glow in the dark.
Oh, that's super fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hope it's okay. I should have asked. I was just like, You should be
I'm
fine.
not pointing it out to you. You never know. I just.
No, I love it. I think they're super fun. The more obnoxious, the better, in my opinion. Ooh. And then another thing, Caddy, is that so in your video, I saw you struggle a couple times getting her to switch directions. You can get pretty rough with this guy. I mean, get in there. Get her out of your space if you need to. There's nothing wrong with that. And then once you get her back a little bit, then again, even if this is a long line, I would come in about half the length point. She obviously knows. And then there's no question in her mind what I'm asking her. She's being sent off. Good. You're fine. I don't know if you can tell she's a little bit calmer now and quieter. Oh, I'm just cussing in front of video. Don't mind me. Thought it stopped videoing. Oh, girl. So that's pretty much where we're at, and you can tell she's a sweaty mess, but she's a little bit better mindset now. So now I will go ahead and show you what I'm talking about the drifting, and this is the next step for you once you feel like you've got the direction changes and everything. So what I'm gonna do is just take her out there, and I don't care if she walks, trots, canters. For your sake, it might be easier if she just walks. I don't know. I'm not sure if your mare is on the lazier side or what. But anyways, the gait really doesn't matter. It's just her listening to your body language and you pushing and pulling and getting her to listen. So yeah, let's girl. We'll go on the outside of this cone, and then nope. Good. And then we'll go on the inside of the cone. And we'll go on the outside of the cone. And we'll go all the way around. And we'll go on the inside of the cone. We'll go on the outside of the cone. Inside. Girl. Really all I'm trying to achieve here is to get her to move out of my space and then kind of come into my space without stopping. And then again, the goal is kind of stop. Here, good girl. So really all we're trying to achieve here is to get her thinking, get her to moving off my pressure. If you're having some issues with your horse moving out of your space, go back to it's leaking. Go back to I don't even be near her and she's like, I know what we're doing. That's the problem with this mare. She's a pleaser. She wants to get the right answer before I've even asked the question. Good girl. If you are having issues getting her out of your space, that's when you go back to the driving and just, moving her. She's like so overachiever. You need to just calm down. And if she does that and it's just like getting herself worked up, which I'm sure yours isn't going to because I know your horse is not as big of a nut as this one has been lately. Good. Good girl. So, if you're having issues getting her to move like that, then that's where you go next. But you just want to start with sending. Come on. Good. And then kind of walking. Nope. Walking into her space while she's moving forward. There. And she should move out of your space. And then to bring her back in, just keep her moving forward. Kind of open the door, ease back. And then she should kind of come towards you. Sometimes you have some issues with doing that last one because they'll want to stop. And you just keep, just drive her forward again, resend her, and just keep doing that. And it just gives you a little bit of direction and purpose. It's fun to do. And sometimes you can get them really in tune. And like, as you can tell with a horse like her, really gets them thinking. So yeah, that's all I got for today. I hope it helped. Thanks.